All right, hello everyone. Welcome again. You know me, right? I'm gonna be working on this bucket. I did. Sorry, I lost my zoom. There we go. I did too many planks on this bucket here, and I wanted to simplify it. I also wanted it to be a little bit lower resolution too. I think if I'm smart here, I probably. I'm just now realizing, like, if I want to do this really smart, I'll and I don't want to have to redo some of these rivets, then what I'll do is I'll probably rotate these guys so that my rivet is centered in the middle. I don't know how that's gonna work, actually. Let me turn my wireframe on here. But I'm hoping that we can get a bake in on this guy. We'll do a test bake on this. DV lock, no. Bad Maya. So I'm centering my pivot in the middle here, and that's going to allow me to rotate in the middle of this axis like this. Here we go. This is what I'm kind of doing here. I'm just going to put this on this layer. I don't really even know what this thing is. I'll just make a new layer. Get rid of those guys now. Get rid of my high. So, I mean, there's going to be a little bit of a space in my game res, I guess. If I do something like this, kind of want my stuff to be right in the middle of a rivet. So that way, when I duplicate it, it's going to land in the middle of a rivet, most likely. So let's set this up now. I'm gonna click off of it because I don't want that transform going on again. I'm just gonna rotate once. Try to line it up nice and good. And just keep hitting Shift D, and that's gonna keep that operation going. Oh my. All right, we landed a little bit too long on this guy. So yeah, we'll just shrink him down a little bit. Rotation, no big deal. We got this, we got this. UVs were unfolded. Now I can click on my rivets here too and delete a bunch of those because that's not necessary. But you see what I did with those spheres though, right everybody? They are not spheres anymore. I started these rivets off as spheres, but I collapsed the geometry down. And you can see much less geometry. We could take a look at the high res here and see how much geometry the high res was. I even did some collapsing on that one though, But all you have to do is do some collapsing, and you can get yourself some rivets that look kind of like that. Now, actually, what I might do here too is scale those rivets because they seem a little small now. Now that I'm I'm gonna have to delete that one. Goodness. I see that I'm getting some penetration here, so I'm gonna have to be careful with some of that. This guy went on a little joyride here. Actually, I'm getting a lot of bad stuff on the bottom. I should have tapered that in a little bit. I actually like that these are a little bit crooked. I think that's like, gives the model some believability. I am going to combine this shape together and see if I can't do something with this model here. I'm just gonna combine these guys together. I'll do an inflate. That's probably the best thing here. Just grab these guys. Actually, what I'm not gonna do is an inflate, I'm gonna do a deflate. So I'm gonna grab these faces, switch them over to vertices, switch my selection over to vertices, do a soft select here probably. Let's lower my brush because it's usually ginormous by default. And we're gonna switch over to normals. This is really all I have to do is just pull in on the normals a little bit. Oh my goodness, this is... Let me save my file here first. This is a high probability of crashing on me at times, so you don't want that. I don't want to crash in front of all you guys. That's a bad situation there. There we go. Oh. Okay. I think we made it out of that one alive. That was a real life and death situation. Okay. And we'll grab faces like this and just kind of... Now I gotta take it off of normal mode. Make sure you remember to X that normal mode off once you're done with things. I don't want anything stabbing through here. That is not good. Oh, wrong face. Just little shapes like that. That'll work. I'm okay if this stuff is kind of flaring out up here. This is a little bit too much flaring out. Man. I did not think this was that aggressive, the way that I kind of modeled this thing, but I guess I did. Got a little crazy. And I'll adjust and stagger the height on these things. A difference of what? Control middle mouse button. What are you talking about? Like control middle mouse is like a... Yeah, yeah, that looks like some kind of inflation technique. They must have added that in there. Okay. I could see that working. You know, a lot of people are still using like transform component and just kind of like working that way, but you can't use soft select. I didn't know that tool used soft select too, or it was soft select capable. That's good to know. Okay, so I have my buckets here. What I wanted to do was give the model, I'm just gonna grab some faces here. Just like randomly selecting a couple of these guys, pulling some of them down, grabbing some more and pulling them up, just to give me that like really organic looking offset that's you know, not perfect, right? It's good to have a little bit of chaos like that. It is so nice. Grab some more shapes, just randomly selecting things. Pull some up and bring some down. Probably be a little bit more gentle on the bottom, because if that has to rest on something, then people are not going to be happy. And then, you know, at the same time too, we can kind of pull, like, we could take soft select off here. Well, you probably don't want it to be off. You want the bevels to kind of come along for the ride. But just you know, little variances where we make some of these guys a little bit crooked too. That's also nice to have. But I'm glad that you brought that to my attention, Malik. I think that's a cool tool. It's along the lines of the shift edge loop tools, right? Where it's just like, oh, if you just hold shift, it does this. I remember just like finding that like years ago, and I was just like, hey, did you know that this did this? What? Just click buttons. Just button mayhem. Okay. Little bit of chaos there. Got the job done. Let me come into my high now, and gotta delete my highs on these guys here too. And then I think I'm gonna scale those up, like all of them. They just seem really small and insignificant now. And you know what? I think I'm gonna do a floating geometry for my, well, yeah, I was gonna do one where the rivet was gone, maybe two. And do some floating geometry baking today too. So we'll try that. Actually, yeah, I want to enlarge these guys first though. Let's take care of that. I'm just gonna grab everything and then deselect like everything. That way I'm just grabbing my rivets. See, like that doesn't work. Oof. Maybe I need to center my pivots on that. No, that's not even. Yeah. It's not working anymore. Now it's just grabbing everything. Maybe I need to be in vertice mode with all those. Let me isolate my view here. Just grab all. Oh, goody. Yeah, I probably need to be in faces mode or something. These are already not named the right thing, so. Let me just combine them together. Come over to faces and see if that trick works. There we go. Kinda. All right, and now I gotta separate them back out again. But at least they came together and did it all in one. That was the objective there, was that. I should have left my stuff in isolated view. There we go. Split these guys up now. Oh, there we go. I think if I click the middle, I'm always gonna get a game res. But yeah, it stinks that it doesn't work in OBJ mode like that, or object mode. There's never gonna be a perfect tool for everything. That would be fantastic. It's okay. Anything that make us faster is something that you guys want to research into. I'm gonna combine these guys together, and then I can combine these guys together. And now nothing is isolated. But we have rivets now. They are, I believe they're UV'd. The game reses are at least. The high reses, you guys don't need to UV those. So hopefully nobody's UVing anything high res, not necessary at all. Yeah, I got UVs for that. Be cool, be cool. And I said, yeah, let's try a floating on this thing too. Let's try that out. So what I need to do for that is come in here and just like delete faces on both the high res and the game res. I'll do one on the top and one on the bottom. Let's just try that out. Randomly selected. I'm not prejudiced against any of these rivets. I'm just like grabbing things. So we'll try this guy out. I'm gonna try to put a cylinder in this and just make a hole. And we'll do a floating geo. This guy. Reverse faces. Come on out. Extrude the edges. Oh, no soft select. There we go. I'll put a little bevel on this. This is just going to be a high res anyway, so soften those edges. I don't even need any UVs for this shape because it's just going to be slapped on into this guy here. So it's just going to be a normal map detail. We'll see if it works. Keep forgetting the J locking of the angles there. So I'm going to line it up here with a vertice. We'll rotate it slightly. Scale it down, definitely. I should only have to use one of these guys because I should be able to duplicate it to the other one pretty easily. All right. Now I kind of want it in the middle of this face because I feel like this guy is going to be nice and flat. Looks pretty close there. Actually, I need to get rid of my low. And yeah. So I'm actually not going to be able to. Since this one's my high, since this is my high res right here, I want it lined up to my high res. I don't want to line it up to my game res. This is what I want to line it up to, is this guy right here. And since my high res is still kind of faceted, I really don't have to do a deformer on this guy because it's pretty flat. Pretty flat there. Maybe I'll shrink it a little bit too to make sure that my flap is flat there as well. Kind of scale it in like this. Does not have to be very big or very deep. So I'm probably going to scale the depth down a little bit here. Just give me a little shape there that implies that there's a hole. And this is something that I need to make sure is combined with this shape, the bottom ring high. That's how you're going to bake that stuff on there. It has to be combined on. I'm just going to duplicate it over here and reuse it for wherever I did my other one. There it is. Snap vertice. Find a nice spot for it to settle on. Cool. So we'll try that out. Man, I got some more intersecting faces over here. What is the deal? I thought I made you good. I thought I made you pure. This is the high res though, so I guess that's my problem is, you know, the bands are the high res, but I still have like game res planks there. So I'm gonna make high res planks too. Don't worry about that. I do simply have to combine these guys together though. Because like I said, if I don't do this, if I don't make this thing top ring underscore high, then their floating geometry, you have to name it to the shape that you're baking it onto, or else that match by mesh name stuff is not going to work for you. Because they're going to be named differently, right? So I got to do the same thing down here. I'm just going to combine it together. Bottom ring underscore high. Okay, so top ring underscore high. Why do I have ones? I probably have group nodes in here or something. Yeah, I probably do. Just delete history. That should fix it. Let me try to rename this thing. You do not want numbers after suffixes like that, because that is not going to work for you. So it's cool if the geo is a bit of a mess on the game res, like as long as it'll project okay and fits the silhouette at minimum cost, or should we be trying to for somewhat quad topology in areas so we can make it work? You can get a little messy on the game res. I mean, I should still be able to see what the geometry used to be, right? Don't like, you know, it shouldn't look like Dynamesh or you know, or any of that other stuff. Okay, it shouldn't look like the name is blanking on me.
In ZBrush when you lower the geometry down. Lost the mic there.
Yeah, it shouldn't look like you ran an optimization program on it, you know. But if you have triangles, I'm okay with triangles. Triangles work. Everything does turn into a triangle, so that is fine. I mean, is there an example that you're trying to give to me here for messy geometry that I have here on my screen? I'm gonna do. See, these rivets are so far apart from each other that I don't have to name those individually. Rivets underscore high. Put them in the high layer, so that's good. The game res bolts that I have. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no structure to this at all. And like I said, what I did for this shape was you know, it was a sphere, and I collapsed it down in the triangle. So you see my triangulation towards the middle. All those triangles are coming towards a point, and they're pointing towards the middle. That's because they were all edge loops that I collapsed down. And this is how you optimize game res for like spheres and stuff, right? Let's see here. I also need my high res stuff. This guy. But yeah, I mean, game res is silhouette pretty much. That's what you're pushing for with game res. Let me add these to the high res layer. That way I can optimize it out. This game res, just leave it. It's fine. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. We don't need the whole topology there because it's just going to bake on as a normal map. Now these guys, they're already doing the right thing. I mean, if you look at my topology here, like whatever these cubes are, I have to make sure I name that the right way. Obviously, my planks are not named the right way. This is going to be a whole nother material from the rest of my well so far, so I don't really have to really even name my well pieces because they're not baking. I'm never going to bake those because it's just tiling. But I mean, it would be smart to name things. You know, people will get angry at you if you're not naming things usually. These guys need to get named. The did I just name it rivets? Yeah, rivets underscore high, and these are rivets underscore low. Okay. Now, these guys are going to be planks. Here's the deal with the planks though. It's all like right next to each other, right? So I don't want these planks to be combined together. That's too much. They're all going to be baking onto each other. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to smooth these guys out first. We're going to do a smooth operation. I'm sure 3 mode gives me some cool stuff, right? Kinda. It's kind of soft. Let me, okay, so I'm going to duplicate this guy. I'll put one of them in the low res so I can just get rid of the low res altogether. And this other one's going to be high res. Rivets, you guys are also low res, so go to the group. You do not want group nodes. You want to use layers. Sorry, I said the wrong term. Use layers over here. Do not use groups because groups will rename your asset. It'll undo and redo your names, and you probably don't want that. Okay. So let's see what 3 mode's doing now with these guys. Yeah, so I'm getting a little bit more straightness there. With these guys are coming out a lot stiffer than the rest of these guys that are kind of beveling out a little bit too much. So yeah, we're gonna keep these edge loops going here. What did I do? Where are my edge loops at now? Okay. Just keep it going. Oh, okay, these are the ones that I made before. I was looking for them. Just a little bit of stiffness in there. And these don't have to be like the same stiffness. Some of these boards can be lighter than the other ones, obviously. That's just gonna, you know, produce... It's just gonna produce more of that effect that you want, right? It's just gonna give you more organic features that are gonna feel realistic and not like, you know, everything's so geometric. Tighten up on some of these, loosen up on some of them. Whatever you want to do. Just kind of give the computer a little bit something to work with here before we smooth them out. Always start off with bevels though. Bevels are a better starting point for holding edge kind of information. Now I got, you know, my stuff is looking really stiff on top and not too great on the bottom here. So I need to do some work on those guys now. Just kind of give my model a little bit of more chaos here. High res, you know, who cares about geometry? I mean, we want to be able to correct it and fix it up, but you know, how much geometry is being used for it, you know, poly count wise, that's, you know, not a big deal. Okay, so let's look at the high res again, see what we're getting. All right. And that's exactly how that stuff's gonna bake in there like that. Okay. Now I don't know, there doesn't seem to be any details in the middle of this thing. If I did want to do any details in here, I could definitely just go in and stamp some like rivet holes where the rivet's actually going into the wood and we see a little something there. I'm not gonna worry about that right now. Doesn't seem like anything that I need to worry about. Okay, so onwards to take my high res off here. I need to separate these guys out. High res and game res. I'm gonna just isolate those right now. Use my separate tool. Now, since these guys are right next to each other, I do not want them to be combined. But what I could do though is here, let me get rid of my lows. Let's just work with the highs for right now. Actually, I need to I'm just gonna smooth these guys right now. Smooth it. That way I'm not pressing 3 mode and I know exactly what I'm grabbing. Okay. We can do something like this though, where we work with groups here. You know, this one, it looks like I can get like groups of 3 or 4 in here maybe, and combine those together. As long as they're not next to each other, we can do something like this. We got 1 group, 2 group, and this one's gonna be my last group. 3 groups. Not next to each other, so not gonna bake onto each other. You're not gonna deal with any baking errors there. So do I have to come in here and rename all of those? No. I don't have to go through and rename all that stuff. I simply just have, you know, planks 1 underscore high. Planks 2 underscore high. And we'll grab this last one here. Planks 3 underscore high. Okay. So if you guys were modeling like a chain link, like a chain or anything, right? You don't have to grab every single chain link and put a name behind it, all right? And if you use like the batch rename tool, it's gonna put a number after the suffix, which is not gonna work for you. Because it's not gonna understand high 1, high 2. It only understands numbers in here. The suffix has to be the same. So I need to turn my low res on now. High res, I'm actually going to put on reference mode. And I'll just grab my low res. It looks like I got a group on here. What's my group? Oh, these need to be separated. Why aren't we separated? Okay, I'll just grab everybody. Oh, I didn't, okay, sorry, I didn't, let me turn my low res off. I did not put my high res onto my layers since I separated them. So now, there we go. My high res can be referenced now. Not that I can select them at all. These guys need to be unparented. So Shift P, unparent them from that group. Bye-bye group. You're not helping anybody. So these are my game reses. Let's take the reference off on the high res. Let's see. I want to just remember my selection here. In fact, yeah, I'm just going to leave the high res selected. And then just deselect the high res. And now I know, okay, yeah, that's that. Combine it together. What was that shape called? Planks 2. So just remember what the name is. Uppercase, or, you know, case sensitive, basically. Low. Planks too low. Planks too high. I really need to have those selected. I think I can remember these combinations here. If the high res would just chill the hell out. Okay, combine it together. That's exactly what I was looking at there. And this one was planks 3, so planks 3 low. And you'll see those names line up with each other right here, hopefully. I don't know why I have a big difference in this. If you ever want to see that stuff, just come over here to sort order. It should be alphabetical within type. Maybe it takes some time. It takes some time to update that, but you'll see, there we go. We got planks 3 high, planks 3 low. If there's any variation in that, you'll see it in the naming, and you'll be able to tell, hey, this is not named right. Okay, so this one is the group that I need. The planks 1 group. This guy. Come on. All right, it's just memory game now. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. This one, and this one. Combine it together. Planks 1 underscore low. Delete history. And there we go. And now I've got those guys named and divided up. I'm gonna have to play with UVs though, because you know, I only want some of these guys to bake and the other ones just follow suit. So we're gonna play with UVs now and see how I can position this thing the right way. I'm gonna unisolate my view. And let's look at the UVs for this whole guy here. Take out the high. We don't need the high. High doesn't serve any purpose right now. So let's take a look at. Oh yeah. Why is my high selected here? Okay, there we go. I have a P cylinder in here still. What's P cylinder? Oh, the bottom. I don't think I'm really baking the bottom. To tell you the truth, I think I'm just gonna leave that out of the mixture there, maybe. I should probably have a high and a low though, because it's gonna put a little AO there. So let me do bucket, bottom. I am bucket bottom. There we go. I'm like, I all of a sudden just forgot how to spell the word bottom. Low. Bucket bottom low. And I'll duplicate the shape. And I'll extrude it so that we get a top and a bottom. Like actual thickness on this thing. Whatever. I don't know why this guy is we go to mesh display, conform. What is going on here? It's just in shadow? Was that? I don't know. Anyways, this is my Buckham bottom. Hi. Delete history. Add this guy to the bottom. There we go. Now I've got this guy as part of the low. We'll make these guys part of the low too. There, now everything's under control. Here's my low. The bottom of my bucket, I'm just gonna double side it. So I didn't want to, I'm probably just gonna erase any normal maps that bake on that thing. But I would like an AO to bake in there, so I may need the high res there. We'll see what happens. But I'm just gonna double side that face. There's no reason for there to be a top and a bottom to this thing. It's just more UV space. All right.